So the first part of class today, I'm going to introduce the project and show you where all the information that you're going to need um, to complete the project is going to be found. Then the second half of the class, we actually are going to cost out one of the recipes from your project. Okay. Um, so let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Your project is now visible in Canvas. I'm going to post it after your recorded lectures module. Okay, so if you had your module page open just now before I published the project, go ahead and just do a refresh and the project module will appear. Okay, let me go to one thing before I forget. I think I forgot to do this for your class, so let me do this. Hold just for a moment. Your discussion notes. All right. So let's go back to our module, to the project. All right, so this project, the way I came about doing this project, the one reason why I like to wait till right now to present it is because we just talked about chapter 4, the menu, how we cost out different menu items. And so prior to the pandemic, when we were in our old building, which is across campus, which is the cybersecurity building, that's where how many of y'all knew that our building was across campus? So where the cybersecurity building is right now, this entire department was on one floor, on the second floor. That was it. That's all we had. And now we moved from that building to this amazing building. That's a little side note. All right, so we um, we used to have one restaurant and we sold lunch for $9 and dinner was $12. It was a four-course meal. Okay. We moved over to this building. We have two restaurants. One is downstairs. It's a three-course meal. We serve it now for $15. And upstairs in Artemisia, as we do that four-course meal, we sell it for basically $20 a meal. Okay. That still is significantly cheaper than what you would find for that same quality meal out in a restaurant in the public. Okay. So this project came about, and I started thinking, what would we actually have to charge if we were going to use the concepts that we learn about in cost control? So, what is the actual selling price that we should sell these menus for instead of $9 or $12? Okay. So, in this project, you are going to cost out all of the recipes from the menu set. Okay. Then you are going to apply a flat 30% food cost to determine what the selling price will be for your menu. And then if you remember in chapter 4, we talked about how some menu categories have different percentages based on the protein and the cost of the ingredients, right? And so then you're going to apply the percentages from different categories and see which method 1 or method 2, yields a higher selling price. Okay. And then you're going to answer these 5 simple questions. So that's basically your project in a nutshell. You're going to do an analysis of a menu, you're going to cost it 2 different ways, and then you're going to write 5 questions about the analysis of that menu set. Okay. Everything you need is going to be in this module. So we have your menu set. This is going to have all your recipes in it. Okay. The Chef Tech inventory list. The Chef Tech inventory list is where you're going to find most of your ingredients. Okay. So most of your ingredients are going to be found here. Now, there's a couple different ways you can navigate and use this Chef Tech inventory list, okay? If you hit Control F, or if you're on a Mac, it's Command F, this little box will appear right up here in the top right corner, okay? Carla, give me an ingredient we might use in the kitchen. Any ingredient. Oil. Oil, okay? So we type in the word oil, and this tells me that oil appears 11 times somewhere in this document. Okay. So I just hit enter, and it takes me to the next time that oil appears. Okay. Now, why is this important? Because this is actually an Excel spreadsheet. So if you were to download this Excel spreadsheet, my downloads. If you were to download this Excel spreadsheet, you have all the tabs across the bottom, okay? And so if I'm looking for oil, I do the same thing, but it tells me oil is not anywhere on here because it's only looking on this one tab that says produce, okay? So what you can do, sometimes students like to download the Excel, and then that way they don't have to be connected to any kind of Wi-Fi or anything like that. If you want to do that, you have to choose the options and you have to change from sheet to the workbook. And that workbook's going to, it's basically going to find it on all of the tabs. Okay. Instead of sheet, you want to change it to workbook. And then you can use this Excel document. Okay. Questions about our Chef Tech inventory list? All right. So if the ingredient is not on the Chef Tech inventory list, chances are it's in this semester project notes. Okay. This semester project notes, I typically have anywhere from 20 to 30 students per class. So if I have 3 classes, that's 90 students. I can't answer the same question 90 times, right? And keep my sanity. So I developed this way to communicate different things that I saw from one semester to the next to help students prepare for this project. And so basically, you'll see that every single recipe is here. And there are certain things about that recipe, whether it's I'm helping you understand how to convert differently, if I'm helping you understand which item on the Chef Tech inventory to select, or maybe it's not even on there and I went to heb.com to get the price for the recipe. Okay. So those are all those different notes that you're going to find for each recipe. Check it out. This Control F, the same thing works. Okay. The same thing works on the website. Control F, and then you can go directly. If I'm looking for potatoes, I can look directly if I'm looking for the rub recipe, I can go directly to that section on the website. This Control F is how I got through graduate school and reading a 20-page article and finding just the information to answer the question because I got the keywords from the question and then went straight to that section of the article to be able to answer my question. Okay, this Control F is a very, very helpful feature. Let's see, I got some chats. Let me open it up. So Brian, the meals at the new pricing, it is it's pretty close to break even. It might also be slightly more, or the cost might be slightly more than what we're selling it for. However, we have things like tuition, we have things like lab fees that kind of help offset that price. We also don't have labor, right? That's a big thing in restaurants, paying, right? We don't have a labor cost because you all are students learning the process and producing things along that way, okay? Um, All right. So, Leanna, I'll get to your question in just a moment. All right, so that is the semester project notes. All right, the volume to weight conversions. This is a calculator that I've provided a link to that helps you change from volume measurements to the weight equivalent. Okay, so what are some examples of volume measurements? Volume measurements. How do we measure things by volume?
Ounces.
Okay, so cup, pint, okay, good. What's smaller than a cup? So we do have, 1 cup is 8 ounces, right? So yes, we are measuring by ounces in volume, okay?
Teaspoons.
We have teaspoons and we have tablespoons, okay? So these are probably like the major ones that you're gonna find in this project, okay? And then on the weight side, we have ounces and pounds primarily, okay? I know Baker, sometimes you go into the grams, but we're not gonna go that specific, okay? Ounces and pounds is all we're gonna use. So if I have 1 cup of flour, does that 1 cup of flour weigh 8 ounces? It does not, okay? Brent is shaking his head. So let's look at this flour and how much that 1 cup of flour actually weighs. Okay, so I have 1 cup of flour, but you'll notice that the ingredient is arrowroot flour. I'm not looking for arrowroot flour, right? I'm looking for wheat flour. Let's say it's enriched and unbleached. So this 1 cup of flour weighs 4.41 ounces or 0.28 pounds. Okay. How many decimal places do I have? 2 decimal places. So that's what I need you to have this precision to. The first time you visit this website, it's going to be set to precision 1. That's the default. I need you to change it to precision 2. That will give you these 2 decimal places. Because look at the difference. 0.3. 0.3 of a pound is actually more because it's using that rounding, right? But the 2 precision is going to be a little bit more precise in that 0.28. Okay. So, questions, comments, concerns about this website? Let's do a couple more just for fun. All right, Zion, give me an ingredient we might measure by the cup, teaspoon, or tablespoon.
Pepper.
Pepper, okay. And Kiara, let's give me like the measurement how much we're gonna use. Yeah, of the pepper. What are we using? Teaspoon, tablespoon, and how many?
Tablespoon. 2.
2 tablespoons. Okay. You'll see when I hit tab over how it kind of refreshes. It's basically updating the calculator each time. So I'm going to change it to tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of pepper. Now, am I looking for pepper type cola? No, I'm not. Okay. So maybe I'm looking for spices, black pepper that's ground. Okay. So I'm going to pick that. And those 2 tablespoons of pepper are 0.49 of an ounce or 0.03 of a pound. Okay. Which number would we use? Do we use the ounce or do we use the pound?
Ounce.
It depends. It depends what our as purchase is. If we already buy pepper by the pound, then we can use the pound measurement, right? The conversion. We don't have to convert that cost of pepper down to the cost of 1 ounce. It's already at 1 pound. And we'll see that when we go through our recipe today. Okay. So any other questions about this website? All right, the link is in the module. Those of you who are in class today, I'm going to pass out a piece of paper. This QR code is going to have the same link to that website. Those of you who are online, this AP to recipe updated 2024. This is the document that I'm going to hand out in class, so you can download it and print it if you'd like to. Okay. Hey, how's it going?
So good.
Okay, awesome.
Guys. Hi. Sorry for interrupting your
It's okay.
class.
Thank you.
Oh,
nice.
make sure y'all pay attention. Y'all gonna need all of this. Y'all gonna keep this notebook, keep all the notes, bookmark him on YouTube. I'm telling you, after this, y'all need it.
That's too funny. All right, thank you. So this AP to recipe updated folder or file, I'm gonna pull it up. It looks like this. Okay. This AP to recipe, again, that's the format that I'm gonna ask you to utilize. It helps you visualize, but it also helps me if you're doing if you're sending questions through email. You just take a picture of your work, and then it helps me see where your thought process is, okay? And then what I want to go over is this little page right here. So I think I should have just enough. There you go. If I need more, let me know. I'll just print out some more, okay? All right. So this is a flow chart that helps you navigate the process to cost out a recipe or an ingredient. Okay, so if we look, we need one more. Okay, do you guys mind sharing just for a few moments, and I'll get you another one printed. That's okay. They're in the back. They'll share. Awesome. Thank you, Zion. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to compare the AP and the recipe units. That's the first thing. So if I do AP to recipe, let's say I spend $25 for 50 pounds of flour. And my recipe amount is 2 cups. Okay. Do my units match? Pounds and cups. Do they match?
No.
No, right? So I come here to my question. Are they the same? My answer is no. So I follow the arrow this way. Okay. Now I have to convert to the same units. So looking right here, volume or weight. We know that cups is volume. We know that pounds is weight. But because it's volume and weight, they're two different things. We have to use the conversion website. Okay. We have to use that conversion website. So let's do that. Let's take a look at our conversion website. Let's go back to 2 cups of flour. All right, so these 2 cups of flour. Now I'm looking. I have 8.82 ounces or 0.55 pounds. Which one would I use?
Pounds.
Why the pounds?
Because it matches the other weight.
Yeah, it's my as purchased is already in pounds, right? So these cups, I use this symbol again. It's the arrow with the 2 lines. I use that symbol. It's 0.55 pounds. Oops. So this 2 cups is actually equal to 0.55 pounds. Now do my units match? Pounds and pounds, right? So now I follow the arrow and I have to reduce the cost, the AP. I have to reduce the AP to the cost of 1 unit. So I've got to go $25 divided by 50 pounds. That will give me my cost per pound, which is equal to 50 cents per pound. And now I can multiply the recipe unit cost by the amount needed to get my cost of my ingredients. So in this case, 0.5 times 0.55 is 2.275. 0.275, which we know is actually going to be what? This is money, so it's got to be 0.28, so 28 cents. That is my answer for flour.
We always round up for the money, right?
Always round up to the nearest penny. Always round up to the nearest penny. Okay. Let's do another example. We're gonna do about 2 more just so we can kind of work through this. And then we're actually going to apply it to the recipe we're working on today. Okay. So we have our AP to recipe. Let's go with Carla's example earlier from oil. Okay. How much oil are we going to use in our recipe? 1 cup, okay. 1 cup of oil, okay. And let's say our oil is $32 for a gallon. Okay, $32 for a gallon. So, step number 1, we compare. Are our units the same? No. So we follow the arrow. No. We convert to the same units. We have to identify volume and weight. So cup is a volume. Is gallon volume?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we have volume to volume. You see where I have that right here? Volume to volume. That means we can use our known conversions. How many cups are in a gallon? Is it 16?
16.
Okay. So what we can do is we can take $32, divide
By 16.
by 16 cups, and that will give us $2 per cup. Right? Is that right? 16 and 32?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I did my math right. Okay, yep. So that's $2 per cup. And now that I have my known conversions, I reduce it to 1 cup, and then I multiply it. $2 times 1 cup is $2. Okay, so that's how we're going to utilize this formula. Let's do one more example. Let's do a P to recipe. Okay. Let's say we need, I don't know, 1 pound of brown sugar. Okay. So this is brown sugar. And I buy the brown sugar $30 for 25 pounds. Okay. So my first question is what?
Are they the same?
Are they the same?
Are they
My
the same?
units, are the units the same?
Yes.
Pound to pound, right?
Yeah.
The same unit. So I go, yes, I just go straight over. I then have to reduce the AP cost to 1 unit. So $30 divided by 25 pounds is equal to 1.2, so $1.20 per pound. And then I multiply this times 1 pound by my recipe amount, and I get my $1.20. Okay, so this is how we're going to use this flow chart to help us get from point A to point B. Yes.
Can you show how it would work with egg if you had like whole things like eggs?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's do an example with eggs. Okay. Here we go. Eggs. AP to recipe. Okay, how many eggs does our recipe need? 3 eggs, okay? Let's actually go to our Chef Tech inventory list and let's find what the eggs are. All right, so our eggs are 15 dozen and 29.41 per case. That CS means case, okay? So 29.41 per case, and there's 15 dozen in our case. So that means it's $29.41 for 15 dozen. Okay. So let's go back. Do our units match? Are they the same?
No.
Dozen and eggs. No. So we got to use our arrow, convert to the same. Okay. So yes, this is not volume or weight. These are different, but we can use known conversions, right? How many eggs are in a dozen? 12 eggs in a dozen, right? So we could take 29.41, we could divide by 25, or sorry, divide by 15. That would give us the cost of 1 dozen. We're still not there yet. Then we have to divide by 12. What I recommend is we multiply 15 times 12. 180 eggs. So this becomes 180 eggs. And then that way, when you divide 29.41 by 180 eggs, you already get the answer of 17 cents per egg, 0.17 per egg. And now we can multiply by 3. Okay. So yes, we can use it for whole items. That's where we're going to have that known conversion. Good question. All right. So let's check our module one more time. All right, so this is your worksheet. I don't want you to see that because that's an old version. I probably should just delete that actually. What just happened? Oh, there it is. Yep, okay. All right, so this worksheet, those of you who are online, go ahead and download a copy of this worksheet here. This is what all of your recipes are going to be turned in on, okay? You're going to turn your project in digitally in a digital format, not in a paper format, okay? And everything should be typed as part of your project. So this is the last piece I want to show you before we move on to costing out a recipe. Okay. Now, because this class is unique where I teach everything on one night instead of split between 2 days, please note that you have project prep quizzes that are due next week. Okay. Project prep quiz 1 and project prep quiz number 2. My other classes, I made them due today, but I want you all to work on those by next week. Okay. Gives you a little bit more time to process the information. All right. Questions, comments, concerns about the introduction to the assignment, the project? This project will be due at the end of the semester.
Oh,
Okay. You've got time spread out. Your first recipe is not actually going to be due until after spring break. Okay. But I wanted to introduce the project for those of you who want to start working on it early and get a head start.
I
Okay.
do have one question. So it's based off the menu set you have within the modules, correct?
Correct. Everyone's doing the
We're
same menu
breaking down
set.
every recipe we have in that menu set.
Yep, exactly.
Oh goodness. Okay,
And
sounds fun.
and so if you look at the syllabus in Canvas, okay, anything that has a menu set 2 as part of the title, like menu set 2 rub, and then we have raspberry sauce, pepper, rosemary, cheese bread, okay? Those are all individual recipes for the project. I think you have 12 of them, okay? 12 recipes. Some of them can be 4 ingredients, some of them can be 15, 16 ingredients. They all kind of vary, right? So it's just based on what the recipe is, okay? So you'll see that I don't have recipes due until March 25th. That's after spring break, the end of March, okay? The reason why I don't have the project due or we don't have like those recipes done until then is because we're still working in the textbook, okay? Next week, we'll cover chapter 6, and then we'll cover chapter 7 and 8 before spring break. And then we'll have spring break and we'll cover chapters 9 and 10, okay? Once we finish chapter 10 of the textbook, the remainder of our classes up until that last week, the week before for the final exam review. So the last, like, let's see, that's what, 7, 8, 9, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So for 5 weeks, we're going to have project work days. Okay. And the way that I have that set up is that if you come to class and you already have all the menu sets done for the next week, then you can just come in for class, for attendance, and then you can leave. As soon as attendance is done, you can either log off from Zoom or you can leave if you're here in person. Okay. If you have all the assignments due that are due the next week. If they're not done, then you have to stay in class, either working on Zoom or stay in class and work on. That way you can ask me questions if there's any ingredients you're having trouble with. Okay. Because I know most of you, not all of you, but I know most of you are probably exactly like how I am. If my professor says you have independent study and you can just go home and work on your own, that to me translates, I'm going to take a nap. Okay. And so I know that's how I work. And I've seen the students work that way. And then they get really stressed in that last 2 weeks because they have to do this whole project in 2 weeks, where I have it broken out into stages and steps. Okay. This project is 30% of your grade. Okay. 30% of the grade. 10% is the recipes. And the other 20% is you're putting your whole project together. Okay. So if you don't do the project, it's going to be very hard to pass this class. Okay. It's 30, and it's designed like that because this is a very important concept. Like the student said, in garde you're going to have to cost out recipes. If you're a restaurant or you're a culinary student, you're going to have to do that in Chef 2405. I'm sure in pastry, you also have to cost out your recipes. Okay. So this is a very important concept. Brian, go ahead.
Just a quick question, like for the online quizzes, are they gonna along the way tell us if our calculations are in the right direction or accurate towards the end? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So that is one reason why these the way I developed the project and the way that I did is to give you instant feedback on whether you have the ingredients correct or not. Okay. And I'm going to demonstrate that when we cost out this recipe. So for those of you who are online, if you will go ahead and download a copy of that RSTO worksheet, okay? I do need to go print a couple extra copies, so bear with me for a moment. I'm going to stop the recording. So I'm going to do 2 recordings today. The first one is going to be the project introduction. The second one will be the rub recipe we're going to work out together.